When you're really good at something, you tend to stand out. This is usually a good thing, but it can also have some downsides, like attracting unwanted attention from competitors. This is exactly what's happening with Russia's Roscosmos and SpaceX. Recently, Roscosmos announced a big plan to compete directly with SpaceX's famous Falcon 9 rocket. In this video, we'll dive into this story and see if Roscosmos can beat the Falcon 9 and how Elon Musk has responded to this challenge. Before we get into the details, please subscribe to our channel for more space news updates. If someone had said 20 years ago that SpaceX would one day compete with a giant like Roscosmos, many people would have laughed. Back then, SpaceX was a small company with an uncertain future, and some experts even thought it would fail. On the other hand, Roscosmos was already a big player in space, known for sending the first person to space and building important parts of the International Space Station, ISS. At that time, Roscosmos and NASA were the main rivals in space, leaving little room for newcomers, especially a private company like SpaceX, which was funded by Elon Musk himself. And Musk wasn't as wealthy as he is now. Fast forward to today, and everything has changed. SpaceX is now the most successful space company, attracting both competitors and partners. NASA has partnered with SpaceX on many missions, but Roscosmos has chosen a different path by trying to compete directly with them. Recently, the head of Roscosmos said that Russia's future rocket, the Amur, would have a first stage that could be reused 50 to 100 times. He claimed this would make the development costs worth it. This directly challenges the reusability record of SpaceX's Falcon 9, which has greatly reduced space access costs with its reusable technology. For example, one Falcon 9 booster, named B-1049, has been launched and safely landed 13 times before being retired. The first stage of the Falcon 9 makes up about 60% of the rocket's total cost. By reusing this part, SpaceX can save millions per launch. It's estimated that building a Falcon 9 costs around $62 million. If the first stage is reused just a few times, the cost per launch drops significantly. After the head of Roscosmos announced their big plan, Musk responded with a simple yet bold tweet: "Bring it on." Musk's confidence in Falcon 9 is clear, and looking at its achievements, it's easy to see why. The Falcon 9 is the most frequently launched rocket in history, even beating some of the most famous rockets. In 2023 alone, SpaceX had 98 launches and aims for 144 launches in 2024. About 90% of these launches use the Falcon 9, showing its reliability and importance to SpaceX. The economics of the Falcon 9 are impressive. A single launch costs around $67 million, but with a reused booster, the cost to SpaceX drops to about $28 million. Turning back to Russia's plan for the Amur rocket, many experts doubt that it will be developed soon. Russia is facing budget cuts and lacks new ideas in its space programs. Even though Russia is a major space player, it's not known for cutting-edge innovations. Most of their current rockets, like the famous Soyuz, are just updated versions of old Soviet designs. This reliance on old technology might slow them down in building something new. There hasn't been much progress on the new Amur rocket, which raises doubts about its completion. It's supposed to be a medium-lift launch vehicle that can reuse its first stage. Although there are big claims about its capabilities, the rocket is still in development, and its first launch was planned for 2026. With delays, it might not launch until 2028 or even later. It's hard to see how the Amur will catch up to the Falcon 9, which is already one of the most reliable rockets. It's not just Roscosmos trying to compete with SpaceX. Companies like Boeing have also tried to match SpaceX's achievements but haven't had much success. After the Space Shuttle was retired, both Boeing and SpaceX worked on new spacecraft to carry astronauts to the ISS. Many thought Boeing would win because of its long history in aerospace. SpaceX got about $3.1 billion from NASA for the Crew Dragon, while Boeing received about $4.8 billion for its Starliner program. Despite getting less funding, SpaceX successfully launched its Crew Dragon with astronauts in May 2020. Since then, Crew Dragon has regularly carried astronauts to and from the ISS. But what about the Starliner? It hasn't met expectations. It first launched without a crew in December 2019 as part of the Orbital Flight Test 1 mission. The mission had problems due to a timing error, preventing the spacecraft from docking with the ISS. It took until May 2022 for Boeing to attempt a second uncrewed test flight, which did dock with the ISS. Despite these advancements, Boeing hasn't yet launched a crewed flight. They've faced several issues. The first crewed launch of the Starliner was set for May 6th, but an oxygen valve issue in the rocket's center stage forced the mission to be scrapped just hours before liftoff. This problem disrupted the fueling process, so United Launch Alliance called off the mission and unloaded the fuel. The launch was rescheduled for yesterday, but it faced issues again and was cancelled. This time, a small helium leak in the spacecraft's service module caused the problem. Helium is non-reactive but essential for the thruster's operation. To ensure safety, Boeing decided to investigate the leak thoroughly, which involves returning the Starliner's propulsion system to its pre-launch condition and checking each part to prevent future leaks. And that's all for today's update. If you enjoyed this video and found it useful, please subscribe to our channel and hit the like button. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next one.